You have been lied to your entire life about what it means to be financially responsible. Your parents told you to buy a reliable car. Your friends told you that you deserve something nice after working so hard. The dealership told you the monthly payment fits your budget. Everyone nodded along as you signed the paperwork for 72 months of debt on a machine that loses value every single day you own it. And here is the cruel joke. You did everything right. You shopped around. You negotiated. You got what you thought was a good interest rate. You are making every payment on time. You are still getting robbed. Not by criminals, not by scammers, by a system so normalized that questioning it makes you sound crazy, by a financial trap so elegant that the people stuck inside it actually defend it. I am Bobby, and today we are going to expose one of the greatest wealth transfers in American history. It is not happening on Wall Street. It is not happening in Washington. It is happening in every car dealership parking lot in this country, every single day, to people who think they are making smart decisions. The car payment trap is harder to escape than you think. And once you understand how it actually works, you will never look at that vehicle in your driveway the same way again. Let me start with a confession. I used to be one of you. I used to believe that a car payment was just part of adult life, like rent or groceries or phone bills. Something you budget for, something you accept, something you never really question. Then I ran the numbers, and the numbers broke my brain. Right now, the average American with a new car loan is paying $748 every month. For a used car, it is $532. And here is the part that should terrify you. Almost 1 in 5 people financing new cars today are paying over $1,000 monthly. That is not a luxury problem for rich people buying Ferraris. That is regular families buying regular SUVs to haul their kids to soccer practice. Think about what $748 a month actually means. That is nearly $9,000 a year just for the privilege of driving. That is more than many people spend on food. That is more than most people contribute to their retirement accounts. That is a significant chunk of the median American income disappearing into a hunk of metal and plastic that is worth less today than it was yesterday. But the payment is only the beginning of the story. The real destruction happens in the gap between what you owe and what your car is actually worth. The moment you drive a new car off the lot, it loses 10% of its value. Not over months, not over weeks. Instantly. Before you even get home, before you even sync your phone to the Bluetooth, you have already lost thousands of dollars. By the end of year 1, your car has shed 20% of its purchase price. By year 5, it has lost 60%. Do the math on a $40,000 vehicle. You financed $40,000. You are making payments on $40,000 plus interest. But the thing sitting in your garage is now worth $16,000. You are underwater by the entire value of a decent used car. This is not bad luck. This is how cars work. This is physics. This is inevitable. Every car ever manufactured follows this same depressing trajectory. The leather still smells new. The engine still purrs, but the value is bleeding out like water from a cracked bucket. And yet, we keep buying them like they are investments. We keep financing them like they are assets. We keep treating them like they are building blocks of wealth when they are actually doing the opposite. Here is where the trap snaps shut. Nearly 30% of Americans trading in their vehicles right now owe more than those vehicles are worth. The average amount of negative equity has hit a record high of $7,214. More than 1 in 4 underwater owners owe over $10,000. Almost 1 in 10 owe more than $15,000. Let me put that in perspective. 1 in 10 people walking into dealerships to trade in their cars are carrying more than $15,000 of debt on a vehicle they no longer want. That is not a car payment. That is a second mortgage on wheels. That is a small business loan with nothing to show for it. That is years of someone's labor evaporating into depreciation and interest. These are not irresponsible people. These are not financial illiterates. These are teachers and nurses and accountants and engineers, people with college degrees and stable jobs and retirement accounts, people who genuinely believe they are doing fine. They are drowning in slow motion, and most of them do not even know it. When you owe more than your car is worth and you want to get out, you have exactly 3 options. Option 1. Come up with thousands of dollars in cash to cover the difference. Most people do not have that lying around. Nearly 40% of Americans cannot handle a $400 emergency without borrowing money. Asking them to produce $7,000 to escape a car loan is asking for a miracle. Option 2. Keep the car you no longer want and keep making payments until the loan balance finally drops below the value. That could take years, 2 years, 3 years, Maybe longer if you financed for 7 years with minimal down payment. That means years of driving something you resent, years of paying for something you wish you could escape, years of watching your friends upgrade while you are stuck. Option 3. Roll the negative equity into your next car loan. Guess which option almost everyone chooses? The dealership makes it so easy. They smile and tell you it is totally normal. They show you a monthly payment that looks almost reasonable. They fold that $7,000 of old debt into your new loan like it is nothing. They call it restructuring. They call it consolidation. They call it smart financial planning. What they do not call it is what it actually is. Digging your hole deeper. Suddenly, you are financing $47,000 on a car worth $40,000. Your payments jump to $916 a month on average. That is $144 more than everyone else pays. And the cycle begins again, except now you are starting from an even deeper hole. Here is the math that dealerships never show you. If you roll $7,000 of negative equity into a new car loan at 7% interest over 72 months, you are not just carrying forward $7,000. You are carrying forward $7,000 plus another $2,000 in interest on that old debt. You are paying $9,000 for a car you no longer own. You are making payments on a ghost. And because you started underwater on day 1, you will be underwater again within months. The new car depreciates. Your loan balance barely budges because most early payments go to interest. By year 2 or 3, you are right back where you started, except now the numbers are even worse. 40% of people rolling negative equity are now stretching their loans to 84 months. That is 7 years. 7 years of payments on a car that will be worth almost nothing by the time you finally own it free and clear, assuming you even make it that far before trading it in and starting the cycle over. This is not a financial strategy. This is a treadmill, and the only people getting anywhere are the banks and the dealerships. I want to walk you through a typical American car ownership timeline so you can see how this trap compounds over a lifetime. Age 25. You get your first real job. You decide you need a real car to match. You finance a $28,000 sedan with nothing down. Monthly payment is $480 for 72 months. You feel like an adult. Age 28. The car is fine but boring. Your coworker just got a new SUV. You are making more money now. You deserve an upgrade, but you still owe $12,000 on your sedan, and it is only worth $8,000. No problem. The dealer rolls that $4,000 into your new $35,000 SUV. You are now financing $39,000. Monthly payment is $620. Age 32. You have kids now. You need something bigger, safer. The SUV is worth $14,000, but you owe $19,000. You roll that $5,000 forward into a $42,000 family vehicle. Total financed is $47,000. Monthly payment is $740. You tell yourself this is the last time. Age 36. The family car is paid off in 2 years, but it is already showing its age. Your neighbor just got an electric vehicle. Your spouse wants something more fuel efficient. The car is worth $11,000, but you owe $9,000. Finally, some positive equity. You trade it in and put that $2,000 toward a $50,000 EV. You finance $48,000. Monthly payment is $780. Age 40. Same story. Age 44. Same story. Age 48. Same story. By the time you are 55 years old, you have made car payments for 30 consecutive years. You have paid somewhere between $250,000 and $350,000 in principal, interest, and rolled negative equity. You have owned 8 or 9 vehicles. You currently have nothing to show for it except a car worth a fraction of what you paid and maybe 3 years left on yet another loan. This is not a horror story. This is the median American experience with automotive finance. This is normal. This is what everyone does. And that is exactly the problem. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. What is your car actually for? I mean, really. Strip away the marketing. Strip away the status. Strip away the emotional attachment. What does a car do? It moves you from one location to another. That is it. That is the entire function. A $40,000 SUV does this. A $15,000 Honda does this. A $5,000 Toyota with 200,000 miles on it does this. But we do not buy cars based on function. We buy them based on identity. Research into consumer psychology reveals something fascinating and a little disturbing. When people purchase cars, they are not buying transportation. They are buying a version of themselves. Luxury cars signal success and achievement. Trucks project strength and capability. Sports cars promise excitement and freedom. Electric vehicles announce environmental values. Minivans say responsible parent. Jeeps say adventurous spirit. The car becomes an extension of who you are, or more accurately, who you want others to believe you are. Studies show that 95% of purchasing decisions are emotional, not rational. Your brain processes emotional stimuli 3,000 times faster than logical analysis. By the time you start thinking about depreciation rates and opportunity costs, your limbic system has already bonded with that new car smell. This is why car advertisements never talk about transportation. They talk about adventure, about family, about success, about the open road and the life you deserve. They show winding mountain roads and happy families and attractive people living their best lives. They are selling emotions, and we are buying them at $748 a month. The car manufacturers understand something that most consumers do not. They understand that people will pay almost anything to protect their self-image. They understand that asking someone to drive a cheaper car feels like asking them to be a lesser person. They have spent billions of dollars over decades linking vehicle ownership to human worth. And it works. It works so well that people who cannot afford basic financial security will still finance luxury automobiles. 8% of Americans earning less than $100,000 a year own a luxury car. Let that sink in. People making $50,000 or $60,000 a year are driving vehicles that cost more than their annual salary. People are choosing automotive status over retirement savings, over emergency funds, over their children's college education. This is not stupidity. This is psychology being weaponized against consumers. This is 100 years of sophisticated marketing designed to make you feel incomplete without the right car. This is social pressure and peer comparison and status anxiety packaged into a monthly payment. The fear of missing out drives 60% of impulse purchases, according to consumer research. When your coworker shows up in a new car, when your neighbor parks a shiny SUV in their driveway, when your social media feed fills with people upgrading their rides, something primal activates in your brain. You feel left behind. You feel inadequate. You feel like you need to keep up. The dealerships know this. They use scarcity tactics. Only 2 left at this price. Another buyer is coming to see it this afternoon. This deal expires today. They create urgency because urgency bypasses rational thought. They want you to feel, not think. They want you to sign before you calculate, and we fall for it. Over and over again. Not because we are dumb, but because we are human, because our brains evolved for survival on the savannah, not for navigating complex financial instruments. Because the emotional pull of status and belonging is ancient and powerful, and very, very expensive. Now let me show you what this trap actually costs over a lifetime. Not in payments, not in interest, in wealth that will never exist. Take that average car payment of $700. Instead of sending it to a bank every month, imagine you invested it in a simple index fund earning the historical stock market average of around 10% annually. After 30 years, you would have $1.8 million. I need you to sit with that number for a moment. $1.8 million. That is not theoretical. That is not some fantasy projection. That is basic compound interest, the same math that banks use to get rich off your car loans. But let us break it down further because the numbers get even more staggering. After 10 years of investing $700 monthly at 10%, you would have approximately $140,000. After 20 years, around $500,000. After 30 years, $1.8 million. After 40 years, if you started in your 20s, over $4.4 million. Every month you make a car payment, you are not just spending $700, you are choosing not to have roughly $60,000 30 years from now. Every payment is a decision to be poorer in retirement. Every signature on every financing agreement is a vote against your future self. Think about the car sitting in your driveway right now. What will it be worth in 30 years? 40 years? It will be scrap metal. It will be recycled parts. It will be a fading memory of something you once thought was important. Now think about $1.8 million in 30 years. That is financial independence. That is early retirement. That is leaving something for your children. That is freedom from ever worrying about money again. The car gives you transportation for a few years. The investment gives you options for life. But wait, you might say, I need a car. I cannot just not have transportation. Of course you need transportation, but you do not need to spend $700 a month on it. You do not need to finance $40,000 over 7 years. You do not need to buy a new car that loses 10% of its value before you get it home. Here is what you need. You need 4 wheels that reliably get you where you need to go. That is it. Everything beyond that is lifestyle. Everything beyond that is status. Everything beyond that is costing you a fortune. A reliable 3-year-old Honda Accord costs around $18,000 to $20,000. It has already lost the steepest part of its depreciation curve. It will run for another 10 years with basic maintenance. It does everything a new car does except impress people at stoplights. A 5-year-old Toyota Camry costs around $15,000. It might have 60 or 70,000 miles on it, but Toyotas routinely run to 200,000 miles or more. That is potentially another decade of reliable transportation for the price of 4 months of payments on a new luxury SUV. The math is not complicated. It is just uncomfortable, because choosing the older, cheaper, more sensible car means giving up something we have been trained to want. It means driving past your coworkers in something modest. It means explaining to your friends why you are not upgrading. It means accepting that your car is transportation, not identity. Let me introduce you to some people who understand this better than almost anyone: millionaires. When researchers study the actual habits of wealthy people, they find something that contradicts everything we have been taught about success and cars. 92% of self-made millionaires do not drive luxury automobiles. 97% buy their cars rather than lease them. Only 23% drive the current model year. The most popular car brands among millionaires are not Mercedes or BMW or Lexus. They are Toyota, Honda, Ford, Chevrolet. 61% of wealthy households drive the same brands as everyone else, except they are not financing them for 7 years and rolling negative equity from one loan to the next. In the classic book The Millionaire Next Door, researchers found that millionaires see cars as tools. They buy reliable vehicles. They maintain them meticulously. They drive them for 10 years or more until the transmission or engine fails and repair costs exceed the vehicle's value. They understand that a car is a depreciating asset, and they refuse to pour their wealth into something that loses value every single day. One researcher found that most millionaires never spent more than $65,000 on any car in their entire lives. These are people with net worths of several million dollars driving Ford F-150 trucks and Toyota Camrys. 3 in 10 millionaires drive American-made pickup trucks, not because they cannot afford something fancier, but because they understand that fancy does not build wealth. Here is the irony that should make you question everything. The people who can most afford expensive cars choose not to buy them. The people who cannot afford expensive cars stretch their budgets to finance them anyway. We have it completely backwards. We are imitating the spending habits of broke people while ignoring the habits that actually build wealth. We are taking financial advice from car commercials instead of from people who have actually achieved financial independence. The millionaires are not impressed by your new car. They are wondering why you are burning money on depreciation instead of investing it. They are watching you dig yourself deeper into the trap while they quietly build generational wealth. So, how do you escape? How do you break a cycle that has probably already been running for years, maybe decades in your life? First, you have to see it clearly. You have to understand that a car payment is not normal. It is not inevitable. It is a choice, and it is usually a bad one. The fact that everyone around you makes the same choice does not make it smart. It makes it common. Those are not the same thing. Second, you need to know where you stand right now, today. Do you owe more on your car than it is worth? If you do not know the answer, find out. Check your loan balance. Look up your vehicle's trade-in value on Kelley Blue Book or Edmunds. Do the subtraction, because you cannot escape a trap you refuse to acknowledge. Third, if you are underwater, stop the bleeding. Do not trade in your car and roll the debt forward. That is exactly what the system wants you to do. That is exactly what keeps you trapped for another cycle. Instead, keep your current vehicle. Make your payments. Pay a little extra toward principal if you can. Let time do its work. Eventually, depreciation slows down and your loan balance catches up. It might take a year or two, but you will reach the surface. Fourth, once you have positive equity, sell the car. Not to a dealership, privately. Dealerships lowball trade-in values because they need to make profit when they resell. Private sales typically net you 15 to 20% more. Listed on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, or specialized car selling sites. Be patient. The extra effort could mean thousands of extra dollars. Fifth, use that money plus whatever you have saved to buy a reliable used car with cash. A 3-year-old Toyota, A 4-year-old Honda. Something with good reliability ratings and reasonable mileage. Something that will get you where you need to go without a monthly payment attached. Let someone else eat the depreciation in the early years. Sixth, take what you were paying monthly and invest it. Open a brokerage account if you do not have one. It takes 15 minutes. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account on the day you use to make your car payment. Buy index funds. Do not try to pick stocks. Do not try to time the market. Just buy and hold, and let compound interest do what it has done for every patient investor in history. This is how you turn a financial trap into a wealth-building machine. This is how you flip the script. This is how you stop working for the banks and start making money work for you. There is a rule that wealthy people follow and almost everyone else ignores. It is called the April 10th 20 rule. 20% down. Finance for no more than 4 years. Keep total transportation costs, including payment, insurance, gas, and maintenance, under 10% of your gross income. If you cannot meet those numbers on the car you want, you cannot afford that car. Period. Buy something cheaper. There is no shame in driving a modest vehicle. The only shame is in being trapped in debt while pretending everything is fine. The only shame is in choosing status over security, image over independence, approval over wealth. Let me tell you about the true cost of car ownership that nobody talks about. It is not just the payment. It is not just the depreciation. It is the mental burden, the stress of knowing you owe more than you own, the anxiety of hoping nothing breaks because you cannot afford the repair and the payment at the same time, the quiet shame of watching your bank account drain every month while your net worth goes nowhere. People in the car payment trap often describe feeling stuck, feeling like they are running in place, working harder every year but somehow never getting ahead. They blame the economy, they blame their salary, they blame inflation. What they do not realize is that they are financing their own stagnation, one car payment at a time. Financial freedom is not just about having money. It is about having options. It is about waking up in the morning and knowing that you are not obligated to anyone, that you are not working to pay off a depreciating asset, that your labor belongs to you and your future, not to a bank. The car payment trap steals that freedom. It chains you to a job you might hate because you need the income to make the payment. It keeps you on the treadmill year after year, decade after decade, while the wealth that could have been yours flows into the pockets of financial institutions. I want you to think about something. Your car is parked right now. It might be in a garage. It might be on the street. It might be in an office parking lot. Wherever it is not taking you anywhere at this moment. It is just sitting there. And while it sits, it is losing value. Right now, as you watch this, your car is worth slightly less than it was when you started. Tomorrow, it will be worth less than today. Next month, less than this month. Next year, less than this year. There is nothing you can do to stop it. Meanwhile, every dollar you invest is doing the opposite. It is growing, compounding, working for you even while you sleep. $100 invested today could be worth $1,000 in 25 years. $1,000 could be worth $10,000. The math works in your favor instead of against you. That is the nature of the choice you are making. Cars consume. Investments produce. Cars depreciate. Investments appreciate. Cars chain you to payments. Investments build your freedom. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you can make rational decisions instead of emotional ones. The sooner you can see through the marketing and the status games. The sooner you can stop caring what strangers at stoplights think about your vehicle. The sooner you can start building actual wealth instead of financing a shiny object that loses value every single day. Here is what I want you to do right now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Right now. Pull up your car loan balance. Write it down. Then go to Kelley Blue Book and look up your car's trade-in value. Write that down too. Subtract the second number from the first. If the result is negative, you are underwater, you are in the trap, and now you know exactly how deep. If the result is positive, you have options. You have a chance to break the cycle before it breaks you. Either way, you now have information, and information is the first step to freedom. The next step is decision. Are you going to keep doing what everyone else does, making payments forever, rolling debt forward, watching wealth evaporate into depreciation, or are you going to do something different? The car payment trap is harder to escape than you think, but it is not impossible. It just requires you to see what most people refuse to see. It requires you to want freedom more than you want approval. It requires you to bet on your future self instead of your current image. 30 years from now, you can be one of two people. You can be the person who spent their entire working life making car payments, rolling debt forward, always owing more than you own, retiring with nothing but regret and a 10-year-old car that is finally paid off. Or you can be the person with $1.8 million in investments, financial independence, and the freedom to do whatever you want with the rest of your life. $1.8 million, or a lifetime of payments on depreciating metal. The choice is yours, but you have to make it now. Because every month you wait, the trap gets a little tighter. Every payment you make is money that will never compound for your future. Every year you spend underwater is a year you could have spent building wealth. Stop paying for status. Start paying yourself. Stop financing depreciation. Start investing for appreciation. Stop working for the banks. Start making money work for you. That is how you escape the car payment trap. That is how you build wealth that lasts. That is how you actually win.